It's time to take a look at the big health headlines today from Sara, and it's coronavirus once again that's still dominating the news. What's the latest now?
So we've had 362 deaths, and one of those deaths has now been outside of China. That's over in the Philippines, of a 44-year-old man. But we are still only having the 2 cases in the UK. There was a false alarm about a third, but it is still 2 cases and no further.
So what precautions are being taken, and what sort of we can expect to happen next?
Well, at the moment, all the people that have been brought over from China are in quarantine. So 83 people were brought over on Sunday, another 11 on Friday, pardon me, the other way around.
Yeah.
And they're all in quarantine for 2 weeks. The update is that they're all well. Furthermore, we know that the government are chasing anyone else that's been on the flights to make sure that, been on flights between the 11th of January and 24th of January, to make sure that we haven't missed anyone that could be carrying the virus. But quite excitingly, the government have also put towards research for vaccines, £20 million, in order to make sure that we have an unprecedented fast-track vaccine that can hopefully be with us within 6 to 8 months.
From a doctor's point of view, how prepared do you think we were? How prepared are we?
I think we're brilliantly prepared to manage infections and diseases like this. We have 30 specialist units available. There are 19 NHS units on standby if we require it. So we're well ahead of a lot of other places.
We've got Matt Raw, who has been quarantined in a 4-bedroom apartment at Arrows Park Hospital with his mum. Hi there, Matt. How are you?
Good morning, Matt.
Hello, Philip. Hello, Holly. Yeah, well, we're OK for the moment, I guess.
Good. So let's explain what happened there, because you initially refused a seat on the plane to get out of China, didn't you?
Yeah, that's correct. My wife is basically part of my care team for my mother. And as it stood at the time, the Chinese authorities weren't allowing Chinese nationals to leave. So we couldn't leave and leave my wife behind. So we declined that seat, and then got a phone call a few hours later at 4:30 in the morning saying, hey, you might want to reconsider. We think she can go. You've got an hour to get to the airport.
And so how was that, getting to the airport, getting to that plane? You abandoned your car, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, a car that we only bought last month, and we've now abandoned it at the airport car park. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it later, I'm sure.
So no, I was going to ask, once you got to the airport, what sort of precautions were taken, and what was the atmosphere like on the plane?
I think a lot of the people at the airport were actually a little bit miffed because they'd been waiting there for so long. They'd been waiting all night. A lot of these people who got the original call to go to the airport at 7 p.m. So that's nearly 12 hours. In fact, it's more than 12 hours before we actually took off at 9:40 a.m. local time in China. So I think people were just really, really tired and wanted to get some sleep on the flight.
Was it full?
No, it wasn't. It was a Boeing 747-400 with no business class up front. So all the seats are all, the economy class ones, cattle class. And they actually seated us as far apart from each other as possible. I think there were only 170-odd people on the flight. And so maybe there was one row empty between us and the people behind and the people in front.
Well, that's quite sensible, isn't it?
Yeah,
So now you're in quarantine now. So explain. It looks very lovely. Where are you? What is it? What is it like?
Well, I think we're in the what used to be NHS staff quarters at Arrow Hospital here. So it's like being in a halls of residence at university. I'm in the living room at the moment, and in this particular apartment there are 3 bedrooms, myself and wife in one, my mother in another one, and then we've also got a neighbour with a 2-year-old daughter. So everything is great, and when you look at what the other countries are being offered, I think it's almost a homeless shelter. I think I've read that they're using in France. The Australians, I feel sorry for them. They've been sent to Christmas Island. I mean, Christmas Island, they might not get the virus, but I'll bet they get crabs.
Okay, well, very good.
Still keeping a sense of humour through it all.
Easy moment.
OK, well, look, thank you very much. I know you're sort of there for 2 weeks, and if you develop any symptoms, then the 2 weeks starts again. So let's hope you stay well for these 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.